have today is the torque solution short throw shifter for G35 or 350Z. It looks pretty good compared to stock ones that I've seen that are pretty short. I'll show you in the video later on comparing. But we have the short throw shifter, which it kind of has a bearing right here instead of just a bushing. We got our hardware for it and some of our like adapter type stuff for it. So if you do this setup, I would recommend probably getting another spring from, you can get most of this stuff through Z1 Motorsports, a new cup, and then some lithium grease to go with that cup. We're gonna just smear the heck out of it so that everything is nice and lubed. And this cup will actually go right in here, so we'll also lube it up in here and everything. Next, to top it off and make it look great, we have a Tomie shift knob. So it's a nice satin black short shifter. You can get, this is the short one, you can get a medium or a long one. I just wanted to keep it short. I want something short that just kind of fits in the hand a little bit, nothing too big. I don't care for that. Then it comes with this piece that you put on top right here. It gives you different transmission styles. And we also have the one that's meant for our cars, where we have the reverse on the passenger side. So we'll be using that. What I would recommend if you were to get a shift knob and then one of these, always try to throw it on and see if that will work before you start pulling everything out of your car, just so you don't get in that mess. Then we also have a collar for the bottom of it that will put our boot around. And yeah, so that's for just the whole setup of the shifter. Next, we have these MTec transmission springs that you'll put on each side of the transmission, and that is what's going to help the shifter bounce back to neutral. It should help when we're in like second. It should be able to help us kind of bounce back into neutral so we can put it into third, and vice versa for fifth and fourth or sixth or whatever. So, and this will help with like a little bit of added pressure to putting it into reverse. So there's Z1. They also have this little kit that comes with it to push out the bushings. And what these are for is, for these, we're gonna take out the, should be able to stiffen up our shift. So what you'll do is you actually put it in there, then you would tighten it like that, and then it would push this bushing out. You'll turn it around and it'll push the bushing, the solid bushing back in. So I'll show you the process of that too. There we go. Broke it loose. That is definitely hard though. Wow. Dang. That definitely took some time. Wow. Whew. We can try to measure the throw of it. So this is kind of what I came up with, just to get some measurements. It's quick, it's whatever. So we'll mark this neutral. Mark that third, and mark this fourth. Have the torques. I got a red pin for this one, so we'll just kind of mark right here for neutral, put it into third, and right here is about third, and right here is about fourth. So I have a ruler to measure the length of our movement. So from third to fourth on the stock setup, we're going from 3.5 inches to third to fourth, and 1.5 inches from third to neutral, and then 2 inches from neutral to fourth. Now, on the torque solution setup, third to fourth, it's about 1 3/4 inches about. And from third to neutral is 3/4 of an inch, and neutral to fourth is 1 inch. So that's already cutting down a lot of movement. So next, what we're gonna do is pop this off. It should be pretty easy. Just kind of lift up where the boot's at. I know you have your ashtray, and there's probably a couple things you have to unclip. We're gonna have some sensors back here that we need to unclip. All right, so we have 4 10s that we need to take out. Got those off. Now we can kind of peel this up. Next, we'll be taking out the rubber boot for this, just like that. Then we have this little boot that will just kind of pop up. So when you're underneath the car, you just want to pull this boot back, and on the driver's side, we'll have the 12mm bolt that we're going to be taking off. That's what it's gonna look like. So I'm gonna go and take off the top and everything, but then I'm also gonna work on this so I can get those solid bushings in. Next, we have 3 more 10s to take out. Here we are. Then we got this off. Next, everything just pops out. We got our spring, our cup, the shifter. You can see this one's a lot shorter and a lot longer on top compared to the new one that's longer on the bottom and shorter on the top. That helps with the throw. This one has a little bit more weight added, but should be fine. And then next is this is just a regular bushing, nothing too special. This has bearings in it, which will help keep the longevity of it going. Next, this cup is really worn, especially right here compared to this one. People have used like a spray lithium grease. I wouldn't recommend that because that's really thin. I'm gonna go pretty crazy on it and kind of coat this inner cup just so that it has a lot of lube. Over time it doesn't break down or anything. And I might run a little bit in this. And then when I go and put it back into this part, I'm gonna lube up this just to make sure everything has enough amount of lube so there's no friction, so it lasts a long time. Go ahead and put it on here. Just squeeze out a bunch. It's like $5 for this thing, so don't. Just gonna grab it and smear it all up in here. Next, actually, just put a little bit around this too. So this should make it easier for when I use a rubber mallet to beat it into the cup. I'll show you guys what I'm gonna do with that. You can use blocks of wood, or you can go get a press. So if you have one of these, mostly all garages have them. If you have a garage, you just put stuff on, of course. So what we're gonna do is just slide this here. One hit, put it in. That is nice. It just, look at that. That's why I really wanted to grease it up to make sure that we get really good movement in that. I finally got this out of the car. Now, it's kind of difficult to do. What you have to do is, where the transmission is held up with the transmission mount and everything, you have to loosen up those 4 bolts, use the jack to lower down the transmission, and then you have to use a 12mm wrench on all of these. These 2 were hard to get. If you have a ratcheting wrench, I would definitely use that. Basically the old style, this is a way more light. This is heavier than heck. This is way lighter. I'm pretty sure this is just aluminum. Put the solid bushings in this one, I guess, since it's the newer revised version. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, well, starting out, what we're gonna do is take our tool, and this is how we're gonna basically push it through. Is just like that, and we got it out. Now take this and unscrew it, And there's our bushing. Now we can keep these because they're still good. Take it, and it has this lip right here that will go with that lip. And then basically set it up in here, and then you'll put it backwards. And you'll push through. Start pushing in. I'd say probably right there. That's about it. I'm gonna go through and swap out the rest. So there we go. Got them all in. It wasn't too bad. They got very hot, but they cooled off really quick. What we're gonna do with this cup is, like I said, rub some grease up in it. Look, when I put the grease on this, I gave it one whack and it fell into place. I gotta imagine it's metal on plastic, so of course there's gonna be friction. If you're to lube it up, it's not gonna have any friction. Look at that. It's a free spinning, just like that. So I would use this whenever you could, or where anything meets up. Just like when the cup goes up and down in this, that's still friction, metal on plastic. So if we lube it up, it's gonna be nice and smooth. Now that we got this done, I'm gonna go and put it in underneath the car. I'll show you guys real quick what it looks like under there and kind of what you gotta do. So here we are underneath the car. This is what I had to drop. I had to take the 4 bolts out, lower the transmission. Mostly because the bolts, especially for the top, are really long. Pick this one and just kind of put it upside down just to put it in, and then you spin it. So we're right where we need to be. Put the bolts in on the sides, and that'll help you line it up for the top. Put our little spacer down there. Next we'll put our spring, and I'm gonna go ahead and lube this up, and then we'll put this in too, just like that. So I don't gotta do it underneath the car. I can just do it right here on top, just like that. Now we have a notch over here that will match up with the notch down there, and then you're gonna want to spin this to where this is on that side. So there. So next we'll get our top spacer. Top spacer doesn't really have a certain way to go. It just kind of goes on like that. And then our original piece, I'm gonna go under the car and put that 12mm back in, and then come back up and we'll get this all aligned to where I can put it in reverse and still get in 6th and 5th. Basically, just go through, check your shifts, make sure you can get into 5th and 6th, and then just push down, and that's staying in, so that's pretty much good. You just want to adjust this. So what I did is I left it a little bit loose, and then I put all the way over for 5th and 6th, and just called that good. So should be good. So now we're gonna put the boot back on, and then we're gonna put the other bolts back on too. Oh, it says, oh, that's cool. Never mind, we're gonna keep that. It says Tomie underneath. Oh, that looks cool.